Welcome back to the channel. So today we're not reviewing something that's a gaming handheld, we're reviewing a little torch. So the story behind this is, I always like to keep a little torch handy for when I'm disassembling various different handhelds, and for other tasks as well. And I've misplaced the one I normally use, so I've looked everywhere, can't find it, so I thought I'll buy a new one. Quickly looked online, and this little thing seems to get some pretty decent reviews. Now, the one I've bought isn't exactly the one that you see online. Normally this is called the BORUiT V10. Now, as you can see on the box, it just says, well, it's just some random writing on the box, it says model V10, EDC for everyday carry, flashlight. So this one's actually from a seller on Amazon. It's a Chinese seller, but based in the UK. It's UK stock. It came like next day, so that was pretty good. And it's advertised as a Koikes, something along those lines. The only difference I could find from this, other than the fact it's quite a bit cheaper, is it doesn't have, on the top of the torch, it doesn't have the name BORUiT on it. It just has hot. So let's crack into it and have a look. So first things first, it's the same packaging, from what I can see, as the BORUiT one. Drop resistance 1 meter, it's waterproof. I'd say splash proof because it's not fully waterproof, I don't think. It's got a beeping alarm, it's not very loud. It's got a magnet, that works really well. It's got red and blue flash, yep, it certainly has. Some stuff on that side. A little bit of lies here about what it can do. Well, it is a USB-C charging for V10 model apparently. Plastic and aluminium. Apparently it's got 100 meter range. Now I'll test that out a little bit later on and add that on at the end of the video when it gets dark outside. Apparently it's IPX4 for the waterproofing again, so we'll see how good that is. Well, actually, I probably won't test it to be honest, but I can see from the little rubber stopper on the side, it doesn't look particularly waterproof. 46 grams, well that could be right, this thing's very light. Battery capacity is 1000 milliamp hours. Now I've no reason to disbelieve that, although I think it's advertised as 1000 lumens, and from what I've seen online, the tests, I think when you're boosting it in its top mode, it's about 600-ish lumens, but running it in its standard brightest mode, it's about 500, and that is more than enough for me. What I really wanted was a really bright setting, but also a really dim setting, because the really dim setting is very good for shining inside PC equipment, because a really bright one will just overpower it. So let's slide this open. Just some simple packaging. You get a little user manual, which is very little. So if I hold this up to the screen, you'll get to see what's on it. Okay, Chinese on that side, and it's got some in English first, which is good. In fact, I'm looking at this on the screen, and it's easier to follow there than it is to actually look at the piece of paper because it's tiny. You've got some other languages on the other side. French, but looks a bit German. And is that either Chinese or Japanese? Not sure. Anyway, comes with a little manual. You can read it if you wish. In the box, not much in the box. You get a little short USB-C cable. So we'll just show you how short that actually is. It's about 30 centimeters all in. USB-A to USB-C, just for charging. You get the torch itself. You get a little ring eyelet for putting on a keychain, which is kind of handy. I would probably use this to be honest. And the unit itself. Now, this thing is pretty compact, and as you can see, it doesn't say BORUiT there, it just says hot. Nothing on the other side other than the same model of V10 and inside the case. Here's where you charge it. It actually fits not too bad, this little flap. Let's see if I can lift it off. There you go. I mean, it was hanging off when I opened it initially, but so that's to give you some waterproofing, but there is a bit of a seam around here. It's difficult to see, but to see it on camera, but trust me, there is a little gap there. I wouldn't really want to dip this in water. So you can see where the two bright lights are, and this is the ultraviolet one. So it's only got two buttons. It's got one with a little lightning bolt in it, and the power button. Now if you press and hold the power button, you get the highest setting, really bright. In fact, I can feel the heat coming off it at that point. So I think this will be quite good for shining up the length of my garden, and I'll measure that out later on, I'll paste that out. When you let go, it turns off. So long press and hold it, it'll turn on. And it's green here, so I'm guessing the battery's still pretty charged. So a quick double press will turn it on its lowest setting. Now this is a perfect setting for shining into devices, just for working in them. Then the next setting up You just single press then after that. Maybe we should have read the manual. So I think that's the second highest setting. That's pretty bright as well. Next highest setting is very bright. And that's really hot. I can feel that. That's hot again. That's almost as bright, I think, as the long push. So, and then it'll go back to being the very dim setting. Like I say, I bought this mostly for that setting. And then a long push will turn it off. This button over here, same again, you double press it. In fact, if you want to turn this light on first, you triple press it. So it's like that. You can see it's lit there. And it is actually pretty good. Not got something gross to shine it on. If I did, I would show you. Long press to turn it off again. Now if you double press it, you've got a red light, which is okay. It's quite bright. You'd see it from quite far away. Very small, but that's quite good. Oh no, again, single press. So single press goes to solid blue light. I'm not sure when you would use that. Flashing red light, that could be handy when you're, maybe on a bike. It's got strong magnets, so you could, in a pinch, clip this onto your bike. It's got a little lanyard to it. You could have it hanging down from the back of your backpack. That's pretty good. Pressing it again flashes in the police setup, so, and it is really bright at close range. So this thing hanging on your back would certainly get you spotted. Next setting is a cool white light. Sorry for a little bit of area coverage as well. This could be quite good for fill lighting when you're working on something as well, if you don't want a piercing light in a single spot. Next push is more of a warm light. So that could be quite good for reading with, actually, especially if you have something you can magnetise this onto. And then you have a green light. Not sure when you'd use that. Maybe it's a nice Christmas light, I don't know. And then it goes back to red when you single push. Long push turns it off. And I believe if you long push and hold this, you set off the siren, which as soon as you let go it turns off, so we'll show you that. So the long push and then let go if you want to turn off. What I will say is, this is like 80 decibels. This must be like listening to a panic alarm from about 2 rooms over. So it's not very effective. I wouldn't use it for an emergency alarm in that respect. But as a little torch, it's actually pretty good, I have to say. If you're looking for something now, these normally retail, I think, for about £20 to £25, and I paid about £15 for it, which I think if you're willing to hunt around a bit more and maybe shop off of Amazon, you could get it for less than that. But I think that's actually a pretty good price for something that's got a 1000 milliamp hour battery, pretty decent torch. It's the sort of thing that, it's so light, you could throw this in your pocket, you would never know it's there. Now I usually used a little tiny torch that was a round one that took a CR123 battery, and that was brilliant. I could keep it in my pocket when I went out when I knew it was going to be dark. When I came back, it was really bright. I'm hoping this thing can be quite as good as that. And I will probably put the little loop on it that's here and attach it to my keychain. I may put it in a quick release just so I can use it for magnetising it to things, and then use it when I'm working inside my many different handhelds. So thanks for watching this review. Hope it's been of use to you. I don't usually review things like this, but I thought this just arrived today and it seems pretty good. So for this final part of the video, I'll overlay some footage of me testing it at night, and I'll go through the brightest setting first. That's when you just hold the button. Then I'll cycle on to the lowest setting, medium, and then highest, and I'll just show it casting up my girder. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now. So I've added a little bonus featurette on the end of this video. just because I'd finished recording the video and about an hour later I happened to be opening a drawer in the house, one I'm sure I'd looked in before, and what do you know would happen? The torch I used to use turned up. Now this is an X-Tar, it's a WK21, which is it's pretty bashed, dented, great little torch. So it's daytime now, but that's the high setting. And you turn it off slightly and then back on again. Oh, that's the high setting now, sorry. That was the lowest setting before. And what I liked about this torch was you could customise it. So if you open it up, it runs on a little CR123. I'm using some cheapo Trust Fire. These things are allegedly prone to explode in, but this one has been fantastic. It's a little 123 battery. Now inside the cap, there's these little solder pads. And that's how you change the modes from switching them on and off. So you solder over the first two pads, and that set you up for the lowest setting and the brightest setting, and that's what I usually used. So the lowest setting was used for shining inside PCs, and the brightest setting I would use for out in walks in the evening, because it really had a lot of throw. And it's basically screw it shut, and only when you close it fully does it turn on. So, did a quick comparison with this. So on a full beam, the highest setting, this has got more throw, goes a bit further down the road, and it's pretty bright. This has got a much wider throw, goes almost as far down the road, but it's a much whiter, much more uniform light, and I think that's down to the fact that it has two lenses rather than one lens. This has obviously got quite a big reflector, so it's good for throwing down the road. This one's got two very small reflectors, so although it's got reasonable penetration down the road, it's not quite as good. But what I will say is, they're both roughly the same size, lengthwise. Thickness-wise, well, obviously the round one's going to be thicker. But the amount of space it takes up in your pocket, I think this is actually more comfortable. So if you were going out for a walk and you just wanted to have something in your pocket for when the light went, you knew you had this in your pocket. It's heavy, it's a lot heavier in fact than the little rip-off V10 unit here. So which one would I recommend? Well, I don't think you can actually buy this anymore, but this has been a good torch. I've had this for quite a few years, now been replaced with this little thing. So would I recommend buying one? Well, I think if you can get one for a low enough price, it's definitely worth it. So I got this for less than £20. I think it was about £15, which was actually okay. I have seen it for less online, but sometimes you'll get hit with delivery charges or postage. So just be aware of that. Quite a nice little torch, so if you're looking for something to just have in your pocket, great if you do a bit of backpacking, a bit of wandering up hills and stuff like that. I would have a proper torch for things like that, but this is good for little emergencies. And I will say, the little LED on the front really lights up a big puddle of light around your feet. So if you were setting up a little camp, and you just wanted to sit with bright light but not too bright, the little white LED on here is absolutely perfect. Okay, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.